Hello all and welcome back to round one here. We're having a lobby restart. And hopefully no one ready's up early this time, but we've got the grid set for another attempt at the race, but we're starting from the very beginning. Starting from the very beginning. So get your setups ready for those of you listening. And get your predictions back in again for those of you back in for the second iteration. Of round one. Unfortunately, the first 6 laps have been essentially voided, as much as we would have liked to see the as much as we'd like to see the race continue as is. We're going for a full lobby restart, and hopefully no more crashes. But let us see how this iteration starts. The driver should be running up in a minute's time, but we'll get back into the action. And it's actually, you know what, lads? It's a perfect time for hydration break. We've got a water break. Let's get the water on board. You know, hydration break, lads. And while the hydration break's on, let's run as many ads as possible. Can we do that? Can we do that, chat? Can we run all of the ads? Can we steal all the people's money? That'd be great. As TJ has left the lobby in perfect timing. We'll try and get him an invite back in again, but dearie me, EA over the past 2 days have been pretty terrible. That's the safest way to say it, really. They were terrible. Yesterday we had around 6 drivers logging out, I believe, in the Tier 2 race, and we've already had 2 tonight, as we will have the 5 red lights on here in Austria. And they're out and away we go as Cookie will lead us down into turn 1. Trixie looks to get a better start this time as Nis back on the rear, but Trixie going to defend here as Nis forced out wide as Fakiri through, and TJ dropping like a stone due to not being in the lobby. That's cost him massively as down the order we go, and everyone's gotten away very cleanly here as Mo on the inside here just having a wee look, but no moves going there as Cookie going to defend once again. Now Trixie back through again as GVKP on the rears. Mo gone a bit deep, and GVKP now side by side with the Cadillac as we go Mercedes and Cadillac side by side, and Mo keeps it ahead as Pablos now up to P9 as he battles with Diggs. These two are Ferrari teammates as Pablos tries to get through, but Mo going to try and hold on to this position as Pablos and Diggs race up the hill. We've got Echo watching this battle as well as Pablos going to dive it around the outside as Diggs, bit of contact with Echo running into the rear of the Red Bull driver. There's a yellow flag out for Gordon. Gordon down and around at the back, and Gordon off the track. Not quite sure what's happened. Gordon Stephen now up to P11. Michael Louis up on the inside of Zeno. Zeno side by side with Michael as Ansu watching this battle along as Thori gets through on Ansu. And up ahead now, TJ still dropping as Michael Louis. Hopefully TJ can get back into the lobby as Owen into the rear. Michael Louis shunts the rear of Zeno. And can TJ get back ahead as TJ's asking for an invite? I wonder, is he back in? Not quite sure, can't quite tell. As he's been dive bombed by the McLaren. Oh my god, what have I just seen? What even happened there? I am not quite sure as TJ still dropping. We're going to try and get another invite for TJ if we can. Just has to go through the entire list of people to get there. And I don't see TJ again. Yeah, he's just not there. Anywho, what have we missed? Thori battling with Godzilla. As we go up, we've got GVKP on the outside of Mo battling with the Mercedes drivers. They go side by side, the two debutants here today. Fakiri's had a much better start in this second iteration as TJ's having a nightmare down in P19, although I don't think he's been able to get back in again. But down the order, we've got many moves. Apologies for missing them. We're trying to deal with trying to get TJ back into the lobby as Creamy and Michael Louis battle for position now. Michael on the inside of Creamy. Creamy going to keep it back ahead, but Creamy was having a very strong race there. I think he was P13 before we had to do the lobby restart. Meanwhile, Pablo's just having a much stronger race this time out. Up to P8 goes the Ferrari driver as Cookie is having a bit more of a more comfortable race this time out as Diggs going to get through on Echo, and Diggs up to P10 as Pablos looks to chase down Alexis Hemi on the rear of Pablos. Can he catch him? Here we'll wait and see as down the order we go, and Godzilla losing out. We've got another move here. I think it was GVKP back through on Mo as Trixie now in the rear of Nis, but Nis might have made the move on Cookie as down the order we got a yellow flag out, and what has happened? Diggs off the road there. And not quite sure what's happened with Diggs as Cookie almost has dropped Nis out of DRS range, or out of overtake range. My mistake. There's still so many moves happening down throughout the order. We've got as the worst camera angles imaginable as Creamy losing out to Michael Louis as Michael. We will stick ahead as Nis sets the fastest lap as Creamy down the inside of Michael Louis. Has to back out there as Creamy into the box actually. Creamy to go in to fix a front wing possibly this early on as Echo and Steven swap positions and Echo back through again. And Pablos looks to chase down Alex as still some moves on the cards here. Trixie back on the rear of Nis as Nis trying to stick with Cookie. It seems Cookie seems to be burning potentially out of turn one as GVKP and Fakiri battle side by side, and can the Mercedes get through? It's now a Mercedes 3-4, and Mercedes looking very punchy here as Mo on the inside of Fakiri, and Mo gets through on the Audi driver, although the Audi driver still having a strong evening here. So there's another yellow flag out. Who's it for now? It's Ansu in the wall out of turn 4, not quite sure what's happened to him as again Pablo's losing out to Echo. Is Echo going to get through here? But Pablos will have the overtake mode for the remaining of the next lap as Mo gets ahead of GVKP, and the moves happen so quick and fast it's hard to keep an eye on who's making a move where. Does Nis still have overtake mode? We'll keep an eye on. He doesn't have it, as Trixie in behind does. So can Nis stick with Cookie? What will happen is Pablos back through again on Echo. Stephen watching this position, this fight as well. Stephen wants to get involved and want to try and get a move himself. Stephen having a strong outing here as Michael and Thori battle, and Michael on the inside getting through as there's a couple of early pit stoppers, and keep an eye on those. But it has been a chaotic race so far as Pablo's trying to defend from Echo. Stephen trying to find his way through as Nis still holding on. Meanwhile, Echo with a switch back on Pablos, and Echo gets through on Pablos. A lovely move. Oh, and Pablos right on the rear of Echo. Has to be very patient though. Meanwhile, Stephen is really playing the patience game in behind. Meanwhile, Nis is doing well to stick with Cookie, but Trixie gonna go for the move on Nis as the yellow flag is out, and that's for Codzilla if we can get down to him. Codzilla's spun out of the final corner, possibly booted the throttle. Meanwhile, Nis losing out to Trixie here. And Trixie back ahead now. Can Trixie chase after Cookie here as Cookie looks to stay ahead of the Mercedes driver? Meanwhile, Echo on the rear of Pablo. Still this battle continues on. Yellow flag out for Codzilla again. Has spun one more time as Echo still trying to shape for a move on Pablos. These two have been swapping many laps in a row now, but can Pablos' hard tires come into their stride soon? He would need some help as Echo looks around the outside again to try and get the move. Yellow flag out, and I believe it's for Thori this time, as round the outside Pablos keeps ahead of Echo, is up ahead. I think we got maybe a mistake from Fakiri there. I'm not quite sure. I think he's dropped back a little bit as Mo is up ahead now. GVKP has dropped down to P7, and there's been so much going on. It's hard to keep track of who is where. There's just too much happening, in all honesty. As Cookie desperately trying to escape straight line mode or even overtake mode, as Trixie just about holding on. This top three had battled all last season. The battles continue this season. But can Cookie drop him out of overtake mode? I think Cookie might have done it here on lap 8 as Codzilla has retired from the session. And hopefully that does not break the lobby like and he's left. Hopefully it doesn't break the lobby like Berlin leaving did. We're gonna not. Hopefully, yeah. We're not gonna speak too soon. We're just gonna keep moving as if it's gonna take as Echo and Stephen battle once again. Stephen trying to get back ahead of Echo as these two continue their battle. Nis now on the inside of Trixie as they battle over P2, as Cookie will be enjoying this battle because it means it'll give Cookie a chance to check out his Nis now. Going to try and burn the battery to try and get back up into Cookie's overtake mode. Meanwhile, down the order we go. Diggs and Zeno battle for position here, and who can get through? Meanwhile, Alex having a much better time in this restart. He's now up into P5 and he's got Fakiri next on his agenda, and P5 could soon be his. As we can see, a lot of the hard runners are doing very well off the start here. Mo having a brilliant debut. Things didn't go well on the first attempt, but on the restart things have gone a lot better from his. Round the outside goes Alex, and now can he burn the battery to escape Fakiri in behind, and Alex next can set his sights on P4. Does he have the pace to catch? We'll wait and see. Meanwhile, Zeno and Diggs go side by side, and the two Red Bull livery cars go side by side, and a little bit of contact with Diggs and Zeno. As Michael Louis on the rear of Gordon as well. Can Michael shape for a move on the McLaren driver? Just too far back to go for a move. Meanwhile, we're still keeping an eye on the drivers who have boxed early. Hemi, possibly the leader out of the ones who boxed early, but might have had to fix a front wing. That's probably why he did box so early. So, possibly struggling here. Meanwhile, Trixie and this back into turn 3 they go. Trixie side by side with the Red Bull driver. These two are not teammates no longer, and the battles will continue between the Red Bull and the Mercedes. We're here on lap 11 of 36. It's a debate whether it's a 2-stop or a 1-stop. As things stand, it seems like most drivers want to do a 1-stop. If there were 2-stop in this, would probably be the latest lap you want to go on the mediums, but I think Fakiri may try and stay out to lap 16 or so, but we'll see. If it comes in lap 12, that's possibly the earliest you could go on a 1-stop. 24 laps on the hards is doable, but not ideal. You realistically want to extend the mediums as long as possible, just so the hards can coast to the end quite comfortably, but lap 12 onto the hards is doable, and Fakiri is still sticking out on these mediums. He's the medium leader, but GVKP will be the one coming early, and he may be on hards to the end, or he might be 2-stopping. It's a bit in the crossover, is that, as Pablos will now inherit P7 on his hard stint. But a lot of drivers doing different strategies. Half the grid was on mediums, half on hards, and we'll keep an eye on what is the better strategy. Meanwhile, this battle continues between Trixie and Nis, as Diggs and Zeno continue their battle as well in the background. And Diggs has a little look down the inside, but thinks better of it, and will now try and get a better exit. Meanwhile, TJ slowly, quietly has recovered back to P11. He unfortunately lagged out right before the start of the race, so that has cost him crucial positions, but TJ can hopefully. And Diggs back down the inside of Zeno. I'm sure Zeno would rather not have to deal with Diggs at the moment. Meanwhile, Alex is the first driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty in the lobby, as Alex currently sitting P5. But has that 3-second time penalty, what effect will that have on his race? As Trixie back down the inside of Nis. Fakiri, the next driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty, and that you don't want to be doing that, because a late safety car could cost you many positions. As we've got Gordon and Michael Louis into the box. I think Gordon committing to the 2-stop. He's in very early off the hard tyres, so it seems to be committing to the 2-stop. And Mallard with the next 3-second time penalty. Mallard as Diggs switch back on Zeno there, and Diggs back up into P9. But the pit stop phase has started. Which will be the quickest strategy, we'll see. But we know who's quickest out there so far is Cookie, with a 2.5-second lead as things stand for the Ferrari driver. And it's great to see. We've got 6 different teams inside the top 6. We've got Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, Cadillac, Williams and Audi, and I'm sure Cadillac, Williams and Audi in real life would love to be up this high. As Lalo in the chat has said, Fakiri for the win. Scones cheering on Michael Louis to get some points, and Michael Louis has started his second stint. Could possibly go to the end from here on those hard tyres, but I think it'll be a stretch. Meanwhile, Gordon has to use the medium, so Gordon won't be, as Zeno is washed wide, and that's opened the door to TJ now on the inside, and TJ trying to get ahead of the V-Carb drivers. The Audi and the V-Carb head into turn 3. TJ gets through, and TJ now into P10. And TJ having a great recovery drive. I just kind of wish he hadn't have lagged out, because it has cost him a lot in this race. He had such a good start to the race. He was sitting P4, and comfortably P4. There was a gap to the cars behind. Meanwhile, Stephen and Himmy battle, and Stephen through on Himmy. Himmy on much older tyres than Stephen, through into P13. But I do think on this game we've seen a lot more disconnects than we usually would see. I think this game, for whatever reason, maybe the extra 2 cars on the grid has hurt maybe the connection of the lobby. Just seems like... Oh, and what? Speaking of connection, Michael Louis and Mallard make a connection, as Mallard almost forcing Michael Louis off the track there. I don't even know if Mallard is... I'm not quite sure what happened. There was a big... Oh. It was a big desync, and not only have we a big desync, but now the Aston and the Haas have forgotten their nose cones. Interesting. Meanwhile, TJ trying to find a way through on Diggs says, watching this battle is Zeno closely in behind as we head down the order. Gordon on the inside of Thori as the McLaren's battle. The Cadillac driver Creamy tries to lead this train as Gordon going to try and get back through on Thori. As Thori now charging on the rear of Creamy if he can get it, as Gordon desperately trying to get back ahead but can't. Meanwhile, up ahead we've got the first pit stops, and it's gone hard medium, and it's gone medium possibly earlier than I thought, so it possibly is a 2-stop. Mo in for another set of hards, so he'll be doing hard medium. Everyone doing hard medium it seems, unless they want to do a hard medium. That's a really long medium part. We'll wait and see. But the pit stop phase for the leaders has started, and Pablos now is actually in prime position. He can hold up Trixie and Nis to help his teammate. Will he have that on his mind? We'll wait and see. And Pablos possibly thinking about doing just that, as Trixie going to look for a move. Will Pablos go defensive here? And he has gone defensive, but Trixie going to dive it down the inside of turn 3 anyway. Pablos did try and make his car as wide as possible, but Trixie does well to get down the inside at turn 4. And Pablos did all he could, but he has held up Trixie momentarily. He's probably lost him about a second. As Nis now going to try and fight his way through as well, and Pablos going to try and protect from Nis in behind as well, as it seems Pablos will be coming in this lap. So he's just making... Oh, he's actually just letting Nis through. So hasn't cost Nis as much time as possible. But Pablos possibly doing the 1-stop, so he's going to try and extend to at earliest lap 20, you would say. As we've got a lot of pit stoppers as well. Alex in, Echo, Zeno, and a lot of drivers coming in to do the 2-stop, as Gordon around the outside of Thorian. These have swapped as Creamy's dropped down to P16 as Zeno gets a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. As GVKP on the rear of Alex. As GVKP now on the rear of Alex. Alex though on fresh mediums. Keep an eye on how he can do. And Cookie's possibly in a good position as Hemmy's gone for the softs. Interesting. I guess he's planning a very short soft stint before he heads on to his next tyre. Maybe mediums or hards. But I suppose he's maybe used an extra tyre set than he wanted to. Zeno on the inside of the McLaren of Gordon, and Zeno going to try and get round the outside as we head down through turn 5, and Zeno does get through as Mo gets through on Pablos. Pablos extended to lap 18, but can he go another 18 laps on the mediums? We'll wait and see, as Nis now desperately trying to stick with Trixie, as we got all the traffic now that these drivers are going to have to navigate. Cookie's got ahead of the Alpine Avansu, and can Trixie navigate the Alpine next? We'll wait and see, as we've got also Echo exits ahead, just ahead of Pablos. Diggs in behind, not close enough, as Pablos going to look to get through an Echo, and Echo doesn't seem to be putting up too much of a defense. Although if I were Echo, I'd really want to stick with Pablos, because Echo's on the same strategy basically, but Echo's got the hard tyres on, so Echo will be able to go to the end from here. Meanwhile, Pablos may have to box again, so Echo's got to do his best to stick in the overtaking mode of Pablos, and it should just naturally carry him up the road, as Trixie with a 3-second time penalty. And Trixie, with damage, Trixie has hit the inside wall at the final corner, and his right end plate's completely gone in the Mercedes, and has the Season 7 champion, has his race unravelled here on lap 19 as Trixie now shakes the wheel in frustration, and Trixie now might have to box onto the hard tyres a lot earlier than he wanted to. Does he have another set of hard tyres to go? We'll wait and see. Or he might have to go onto a very long medium stint. But either way, I'm assuming he'll have to get that front wing fixed. Having front wing damage in Austria is an absolute prison sentence, as Mo now looking on the outside of the Mercedes driver. And can Mo join the podium as Mo dances round the outside as Trixie goes very wide, trying to keep it in. And Trixie back onto the road, and Trixie not happy with how his race is unfolded, as Alex now going to try and get through on the inside of the Mercedes driver. He's going to squeeze him, and Alex gets through into P4 as Trixie going to come into the pit lane but washes out really wide. Has just no front end in that Mercedes, and into the pit lane he goes, but can he get a new front wing on his Mercedes? We'll wait and see, as Stephen Beecham now on the rear of Pablos. Pablos is going to try and use Stephen for a bit of a buffer here, as Stephen pulled to the inside. Echo gets around the outside, and Pablos now up into P7 as Echo going to try and stick with the Ferrari driver. But heartbreak for Trixie. He's on the mediums now. He's going to try and manage those mediums to the end. He's got a 3-second time penalty as well for good measure, and he exits the box side by side with Thori. And Trixie now gets ahead of Thori, and Trixie now got a luck to go to the end as Hemi's left the session, or retired in the pit lane. I'm hoping we don't get a late crash, as McElroy's still heading out there with a no nose cone on his Aston Martin, and not the ideal start to the season for Hemi Dimes, as Fakiri, one of the drivers who's one-stopping here, is in a pretty decent position. He's got the overtake mode from GVKP. As Echo still following on the rear of Pablos, and with that Trixie spin, our battles in this race have slimmed down to now Echo and Pablos, Fakiri and GVKP. Hemi's left the session. It's Trixie on the rear of Gordon, as Trixie gets through on Gordon. And Ansu now with the 3-second, but Trixie's going to try and cut his way back through the field again. We'll see where he can end up. Currently P13 is the Season 7 champion. Meanwhile, Fakiri trying to make his way through on the Chinese driver of GVKP, as Echo getting through on Pablos. And these two, I think, are going to battle for a while here. And I think Echo's in the driver's seat, because Echo on the hards to the end. Meanwhile, Pablos, I think, might have to box again unless he can manage these mediums. Meanwhile, Fakiri on the rear of the Chinese driver of GVKP, and the Algerian now going to pick the outside, switches to the inside, and switches back to the outside again. Not quite sure what we're doing here, as a little bit of contact is Fakiri with the Mercedes, as Pablos now on the inside of Echo, and side by side we go into turn 3, and the number 3 Ferrari car going to try and get the traction on to get ahead, as Fakiri battles with GVKP round the outside. Bit of contact, wheel barging, as GVKP holds onto the position. Pablos through on Echo, as Alfie in the chat, the Mercedes team captain, is screaming, "Why? Why?" in the chat, as he's upset. Trixie has spun at the final corner. A little bit of contact as Echo and Pablos making a little bit of contact with GVKP. The other Mercedes driver, he's doing relatively well, but may have to box again. It might be a bit of a stretch to make those hards go to the end. Meanwhile, I do think Fakiri can go to the end, although GVKP may have to be thinking about tyre saving if he is going to try and go to the end here, as Pablo's back down the inside of Echo into turn 1. Not really a place you ever want to make the move because the switchback is always on the cards, but we'll move back up again to this battle. Mercedes and Audi battle through turn 3, and they're battling ferociously. Fakiri has the advantage on tyres, but GVKP still putting up a valiant fight. Echo back on the rear of Pablos, and Pablos doing well to defend here. Echo on the rear of the Ferrari driver. As Creamy, a 10-second penalty. Not sure why. I think he's avoided. Yeah, he's avoided blue flags. Yeah, blue flags. And I'm sure Cookie's thinking blue flags. And Creamy has got a 10-second penalty that I'm sure he wished he could have avoided. Meanwhile, Echo and Pablos again continue to battle as Fakiri trying to drop GVKP, but the Mercedes driver doing well to stick with. As Echo and Pablos swap again through turn 1, and all this battling's helping the likes of Diggs and TJ slowly crawl the way back up again. As Thori into the box, Pablo's down the inside of Echo again. This battling's just really costing both drivers.
You moron!
As Echo on the outside of Pablos, these two still battling side by side. Side by side they go through turn 3. Can they keep it clean as Michael Louis gets a 3-second? A little bit of wheel banging between the V-Carb and the Ferrari. And the Ferrari has to back out eventually. And they've got to be more worried about the cars behind because Echo does have a penalty, but Pablo's going to be thinking if Diggs and TJ join this battle, it won't be ideal. Meanwhile, Trixie's got through on Zeno. And where can Trixie try and recover to? Is GVKP in for his final stop, so we'll see how he can get on as Zeno on the rear of Trixie. And Zeno, though, will have some overtake mode to use. Can he go for a move on Trixie, or will he think better of it and just stick behind the reigning champ? As Trixie heads through turn 1, won the championship with V-Carb, and now he's got V-Carb on his tail trying to chase him down. Meanwhile, Pablos and Echo continue to battle through turn 3. It seems every lap these two are swapping through turn 3, and Pablos and Echo are just constantly battling here. As Echo goes defensive, Pablos picks the inside of turn 3. Side by side they go. And Echo going to keep it ahead. Oh, a little bit of contact with a little bit of wheel banging there. Pablos taps the rear of Echo as Diggs now is almost inside overtake mode. If he dumps the battery here, Diggs will surely be inside overtake mode, and that's going to add another layer of drama because Diggs and TJ will be one-stopping. It's debatable whether Pablos will be one-stopping. I think Pablos is going to try and one-stop on these medium tyres, but he's surely overheating his mediums through battling with Echo every lap. And now Diggs with a bit more battery as Zeno gets a 3-second time penalty. Gordon into the box for his final pit stop as GVKP on the rear of Zeno now, and he's going to look to chase ahead as Diggs now round the outside of Pablos, and it's not a battle that Pablos really wants to be involved with, but if I were Pablos, I'd be considering boxing onto the mediums now, because will he be able to keep those mediums till the end of the race? We'll wait and see as GVKP getting through of Zeno out of turn 3, and out traction him as Zeno round the outside. Can he brake later than the Mercedes as GVKP does brake later and stays ahead as Creamy gets another 10-second for avoiding blue flags. As Creamy diving it on the inside of Thori. As Cookie wants them to get the hell out of the way, really. As Mo into the box for his final pit stop. Pablos has come in, and that is unleashed a couple of drivers as there's a yellow flag for Creamy. Creamy's left the track at some point. And Creamy now has Nis in his way, but gets out of the way as Zeno's retired in the pit lane, I believe. As Pablos exits. And Diggs now on the rear. Although while all this happens, I'm going to double check that the app is working correctly. I'm going to restart the app. Am I going to restart the app? I'm not going to restart the app. Let's just hope the app works correctly. That'd be great. As Thori gets a 10-second penalty, again for ignoring yellow flags. Creamy has left the session. He's retired in the pit lane. And people are just forgetting to get out of the way, really. You know, blue flags are a thing. And it seems people just forget about blue flags entirely. As Fakiri now, as Nis has boxed onto fresh mediums, he's going to go for the fastest lap.
I am stupid.
As Fakiri has Mo on his rear, and Mo looking for a debut podium, which I'm sure Mo, if you told him before the start of the race that would be on the cards, he would take it. As Mallard and Ansu battle over the final point playing position. As Cookie into the box now, and he's going to look for the fastest lap as well. As Mo through on the outside of Fakiri. Fakiri on a one-stop now. He's going to try and just manage the end to get P4, which would be a massive result for Fakiri. Moved up from Tier 2. And in his first race in Tier 1, up into P4. Massive jump from Fakiri as Alex on the rear of Diggs now. And Alex is going to try and get through this traffic as early as possible because he's got Fakiri on his agenda. As Alex on the inside now of Diggs as we head down into turn 1. Diggs is going to look to protect this position as Alex back down the inside, but Diggs still protecting the position. But can Alex now out traction him on these better medium tyres as we head down to turn 3? And Alex surely going to look for the move. Is he going to try and brake late? But he brakes before Diggs gets there and sticks in behind Echo. He's going to try and burn the battery on the rear of Echo. And can Alex get through on the inside of turn 3 or turn 4? My mistake. And yes, he does, as Paulos gets through on Stephen Beecham. As Trixie now on the rear of TJ, and Trixie now gonna play it safe as TJ goes very wide. Cookie picks up a 3-second time penalty. And as things stand, Nis would be your winner. So can Cookie build a gap to Nis? We will wait and see. Or will Nis be able to stay inside the 3-second margin? Nis has surely got his pushing boots on now, and he's going to be running down the road to try and get inside that 3-second window of Cookie. As Mallard boxes for the fastest lap, which I don't think he'll get because he's not inside the top 16. As TJ now under pressure from Trixie, who now up into P8. And next on Trixie's agenda is Diggs and Echo. Although I think he might run out of laps to get anyone else if he can. Also, that penalty may cost him here as well. Meanwhile, Cookie seems to have dropped Nis by a second since we've last mentioned. It's barely been a lap, and Cookie has burned basically everything to try and get Nis out of the way. As Mo picks up a 3-second time penalty, although he'll be glad he's in a bit of clear air, so it shouldn't affect Mo too much. Cookie does get the fastest lap, and Cookie hopefully is going to keep that fastest lap. As Diggs now on the rear of Echo. And a very good result on the cards for Diggs here. A potential P6 or even a P5, depending on Alex's penalty. As Diggs down the inside of the V-carb of Echo. And has to back out. But you don't really want to be going for silly moves, because silly moves like that help the likes of Trixie close up easier. And there's only 5 laps left in this race, and if Trixie gets through on Diggs, an easy position on the cards for the Mercedes drivers is soon on the cards. I think Trixie could get up as high as P6. Don't know if he has the pace to catch Alex or Fakiri by the end here. Have to show amazing pace. But Diggs back on the rear. We've also got GVKP on the rear of TJ. As TJ has to deal with Mallard and the blue flags. As GVKP looking to get involved here. As Gordon picks up a 3-second time penalty. Down in P13. Meanwhile, Diggs on the rear, unable to get ahead. GVKP round the outside of TJ. TJ looks to defend on his Audi debut as the Mercedes debutant of GVKP through into P9 now. TJ looks back down the inside. Brakes later, brakes far later. And gets it turned in. Massive send there from TJ. As the Mercedes going to get back ahead in to turn 6. Oh, very late on the brakes, and he lost the rears. And TJ does well to avoid the Mercedes, who almost did a kamikaze dive there through turn 6. As TJ keeps the position for now. As Trixie now on the rear of Diggs, and this is what Diggs didn't need, because now Trixie going to look for the move surely as Diggs looks on the inside of Echo. Trixie around the outside, locks up, goes a bit wide, but can he hit the exit with these medium tyres? Diggs going to look to defend, but Trixie may go for a dive bomb on the Red Bull reserve, and he has. Oh, very late from Trixie. And Diggs and Trixie off the track! Diggs and Trixie off the track, and Trixie forces Diggs off, and they both boot the throttle into the wall! What are they doing? What are they doing? Jenny McElhone, what is that? What were they doing, both of them? As TJ gets a 10-second penalty for an illegal overtake. I'm guessing that's going to be removed. Surely going to be removed from TJ's time is that 10-second penalty. I would be positive of it, because I believe that was for Trixie and Diggs, who had left the track and caused the yellow flag. But Cookie here with 3 laps to go. And Mercedes having a bit of a nightmare in the opening round of the season. Is Trixie going to try and get back through on TJ, but does Trixie have damage after contact with the wall there? As Trixie charges on the rear. As we've started the penultimate lap, Cookie looks to win the opener here in Austria. Trixie looks to try and recover after massive contact there, as Alex threw on Fakiri. And Fakiri, does he have any answer? I'll look at the penalties, and if Fakiri was able to defend, he might have been able to hold on the position, but I don't think he's enough tyre left in that Audi to defend. Meanwhile, Pablos now on the rear of Diggs. Can he get through on the Red Bull? So he looks for the late send, but not able to get through on the Red Bull. As Trixie down the inside of TJ, contact with TJ, and more contact with TJ and the Audi. And TJ going to stick ahead, and this is not even a battle for position, because TJ should get his 10-second move. Pablos round the outside of Diggs. A beautiful move there from Pablos. And Pablos now up in the P10, but Diggs may be able to get that position, although with the reset to track, he certainly won't have that position. He'll be down the order, certainly. As Diggs now going to look to coast it home with that major damage after the contact with Trixie. As Trixie now on the rear. TJ going to try and look for a move. As Diggs picks up a 3-second time penalty, which may cost him a crucial position. As Trixie now down the inside of TJ. TJ round the outside, going to try and keep it in. As the Mercedes and the Audi go side by side, battling over position here. As, a little bit of wheel hooking. As, who will win this battle? As Cookie crosses the line and wins. He was so far up the road that I couldn't even keep an eye on him. As Nis finishes P2 ahead of Mo. And Trixie loses out to TJ, but it'll be Alex in P4. But Cookie wins for the first time with Ferrari. I was keeping an eye on the map, and I was hoping that the guy crossing the line was Pablos. But it was actually Cookie. As we were keeping an eye on the Trixie and TJ battle. As Echo gonna cross the line. And has Echo run out of fuel? What's happened to Echo? Echo loses out to GVKP. TJ gonna cross the line as Trixie crosses the line and finishes P8. TJ's penalty will definitely be removed, I assume, as Diggs in P10, Stephen P11, Gordon next, followed by Thori and Michael Louis, Ansu and Mallard. But what a chaotic race. There's so much happened. It was so difficult to keep an eye on what was going on there at all. But there you have it. Cookie wins for the first time for Ferrari. And finishes ahead of Nis and Mo. Mo on debut gets a podium with Cadillac. Nis on his first race with his new team in Red Bull getting P2. But Cookie celebrates at the top step of the podium yet again here in Austria. But this time it's in different colours. It's in the scarlet red of the Ferrari. As the fastest lap goes to Cookie. Driver of the day goes to Stephen Beecham. But Cookie, winner, fastest lap and pole. And you have to say for Cookie, that is a job well done. As we'll get in, hopefully, the drivers, and we'll get in the race director as well if needed. And that's everything from the race director. But there you have it. Cookie wins, followed by Nis, followed by Mo, Alex, Fakiri, GVKP, Echo, Trixie, Pablos, Diggs, Stephen Beecham. It's TJ, Gordon, Thori, Michael Louis, Ansu, and Mallard are your finishers for this evening. But we're going to start the interviews with Mo. Mo on debut, getting a podium for Cadillac. How does that feel?
Good, but also, yeah, a bit weird because I didn't enjoy the race one single bit.
Yeah, what happened in your race?
Just no confidence in this car. I've never driven the Cadillac before in any racing league, and I don't like the bend. The car is very unsettling on the braking. Also in traction zones, it's very unstable. So I had no confidence in this car. I was even surprised that I managed to be on the podium. So I take it. But yeah, it wasn't one of my most fun drives in my career.
Well, nonetheless, it's a debut podium, which I'm sure you'll be proud about. I'm sure your team boss, Thori, will be delighted with as well. Yeah,
I hope so. Like, he's in here now. Like, you can ask him.
Thori, how do you feel? Was that a good signing?
Yeah, I've done a good job with signing for this season, so I'm happy he's in.
Well, that's good to hear, but thank you, Mo, and we'll move on to Nis. Nis P2, how'd your race go?
It went the race was decided at turn 1 when I didn't get the start I wanted, and I didn't get to be behind Cookie, so Trixie kind of ruined that one for the first opening laps. So yeah, the pace wasn't there. Before the disconnection and all that shit, the setup felt very good and had loads of pace and all that, but when I don't do a single change to the setup and we reload into the new session, it feels different and wasn't even comfortable on the setup anymore. So I don't know what happened. So yeah, but P2 overall is pretty good.
Yeah, it's quite strange how. Well, I suppose Mo was having similar sort of issues. Was surprised that it felt so different from just a lobby restart. What was feeling different?
Just the overall feel in the car was just bad. It was under braking. The car locked up loads more into turn 3, turn 4 as well. And on the exit, the car didn't have grip, so I don't know what happened. So yeah, the game is the game.
Well, nonetheless, congrats on P2. As we'll move on to Cookie and Cookie, your first win Ferrari. How does that one feel?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was a good race. I had the opposite of Nisev, where the first session felt awful, and then the second one, I mean, it was just like driving on a I don't know, train tracks with lube on. That doesn't make sense, but
Very odd.
felt good.
Odd thinking.
Yeah, it felt good. No, the second race was a lot better than the first. Just complete 180 though. Like the sliding around the first session didn't change the setup. I think I only like messed with the tire pressures and then felt completely different in the second. But it was good. I was in a good little fight there for P16 with a couple lap cars for about 3 laps. Lost me like 4 seconds. But other than that, it's a good one. I think they fought a little bit, got me the 1 second gap, and then I was just praying my balls off that I had enough ERS to maintain it, and I think I barely did. And yeah.
Yeah, we did see you get that late 3 second. Were you starting to sweat then, or were you worried?
No, I mean, I think I had the fresher tires on the last stint, so I was okay with the 3 second gap. And then I think before he pitted, I had 5, so I was comfortable with it. But I was getting a little rage baited by the, riveting battle for P16 in front of me. I mean, they were just dive bombing each other. And
well, for P16 is the final points playing position, so that's why everyone's dying for that single point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it was a good one. The car felt pretty good. I really like this game. I like the battery stuff weirdly, and maybe I'm just a masochist, but no, it's fun.
Well, congrats, Cookie, and congrats on your first win of the season.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I'll move on to Akko, who we've seen throughout that entire race seemed to be just side by side with Pablos for every single lap. Akko, how'd that race go for you?
Yeah, I liked it. It was overall a good race. Still quite disappointed from my qualifying. Qualified P10 and it wasn't one of my best performances. But overall, the race went pretty well. I had a really good battle with Pablos for a good solid most of the race. But yeah, I am really liking these new regs. I think racing is a lot much better. But overall, this ain't one of my strongest tracks. So hopefully next race is a track that I'm good at, and hopefully to be back up at the front, battling for a podium.
Well, hopefully we see it, but it was great battling, great watching. You get a lot of screen time that stream anyway. Because you had Pablos.
I did get a clip of Warner that overtakes on Pablos. I did make a really nice move on Pablos in Sector 2.
Yeah, there was just the issue with the new regs is now there's like too many moves because you still be fighting when there's another battle going on and I'm trying to jump between the two of you. There's just so much going on at once.
It's just too many overtakes.
But a brilliant race. And Akko, where'd you finish up in the end?
Well, I had a 3-second penalty, and I was within 3 seconds ahead of the Mercedes behind me. But like coming into the final corner, and there was a lapped Haas, I think, that the Mercedes was behind, so he did gain 3 seconds on me because obviously he had the slipstream, he had the boost mode, and I was pretty much just trying to get my tyres to the end, and I did lose fuel in the final corner, so he ended up getting me. So
yes, Because we did see you going slow at the line, and I was thinking, had you lost fuel? And pretty shit way to lose a position, but at least you didn't lose multiple in the end.
Yeah, because I think TJ, he had a 10-second. He said in the VC he didn't remember how he got it, so hopefully I hope that gets removed for him.
Mm-hmm.
He had a pretty solid race because he disconnected at the start. He had a good comeback.
TJ did get a bit shafted with that disconnect because he was going very well in the first instance of that race, and then the restart, unfortunately.
At the first race.
Yeah.
For the restart.
And then, unfortunately, the restart did screw him over, but, I mean, that's EA for you. I mean, what more can we do? We were all going well on lap 6, and then it just crashes out of nowhere.
Well, I can say the second restart was a lot much better for me because with the first race, like, I lost so many positions at the start.
Mm-hmm. But thank you anyway, Echo, and we'll move on to Thori. And Thori, how'd your race go? We've seen you at some points battling with the McLarens, but how'd your race go in the end?
I had in my first stint a little bit of front wing damage, and in my second stint I was battling with Noah, and I don't know what Cookie was complaining about, because after clip he was weaving on the straight. So me and Noah was thinking, oh, he let by because he's on his end of the stint. And we are quicker. But yeah, for the first race was a pretty okay race with a new wheel and new pedals. So
how are you finding the new wheel and pedals? Are they better?
Yeah, they are a lot better. I'm now confident in the braking zone, so I can send it a little bit more on the people. So that is nice to do.
Well, hopefully we'll start to see Thori challenge in the leaders, and hopefully by round 6 we'll see Thori dive bombing this in the corners. It'll be great to watch. But we'll have to wait and see. But we'll end the stream there.
Why me? Why me?
Just because you're in the partiness, that's the only reason. I was like,
this is some kind of racism here. I think
you're the only one in the party, so I was like, well,
no. Racist against the Norwegians there. I see.
Anywho,
Nisef, next race I'm gonna dive bomb you if you're gonna lap me. Is that a deal?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait a long time for that because I'm fucking off to Spain for the next one, so yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, anyway, thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please drop a follow. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. We've got a week break next time out, or well, next weekend with the World Cup, and more importantly, my mum's birthday. So we'll take a week's hiatus before we return for round 2, and in round 2 it is going to be Jeddah, which is going to be battery management city, a bit like Austria, but I feel like Austria can get away with it a bit more, whereas Jeddah I think is going to be one of the trickier tracks for battery management, so we'll see how the tier 1 drivers can cope with that in 2 weeks time. But anyway, thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please drop a follow. We're going to raid Cloud on our way out, former WHF driver who battled Cookie back in the day, and now we have a couple of new challengers, but we'll wait and see who will win this season. But Cookie ends round 1 as the winner. But thank you all for watching, and goodbye.